Hi, this is Ajay Anand and welcome to Science Classes from excelup.com. In this lesson, you will be learning about chemical reaction and equation. You will learn about the definition and science of chemical reaction. You will learn about chemical equation, about difference between a balanced and unbalanced chemical equation. You will learn about the steps to balance a chemical equation. Then you will learn about different types of chemical reactions. What is a chemical reaction? Transformation of one chemical substance into another chemical substance is called chemical reaction. In your previous classes, you must have read about physical change and chemical change. You may recall that a change in which no new substance is formed is called a physical change, while a change in which a new substance is formed is called a chemical change. So, chemical change is another name for chemical reaction. Some examples of chemical reactions are rusting of iron, curdling of milk, digestion of food, burning of candle. How do we know that a chemical reaction has taken place? So we look for certain signs or symptoms. So here are some symptoms. This is not an exclusive list. There can be more signs also. So there can be a change in a state of the substance. So a solid can change into liquid, a liquid can change into gas, and vice versa can also happen. Then there can be a change in color. Then there can be change of temperature. The substance can gain heat or it can lose heat, so it can become warmer or cooler after the chemical reaction. There can be evolution of gas, production of light, production of sound. So for example, let us look at this figure. There is a burning candle. So what happens? The candle, the wax from the candle, it is melting. It is changing from solid to liquid. Then the heat is being evolved. Okay, so all of these, they are signs of chemical reaction. Now, what is a chemical equation? When we represent a chemical reaction using symbols of substances, then it is called a chemical equation. So, there is one example. A plus B is equal to C plus D. There is a simple prototype chemical equation where you separate substances by plus sign and arrow. The reactants, they are written on the left hand side of the arrow, and products are written on the right hand side of the arrow. The substances which take part in reaction, they are called reactants, and substances which are formed after reaction are called products. So there is one example: hydrogen plus oxygen is equal to water. So here hydrogen and oxygen, they are reactants, and water is product. So when we write a chemical equation in this way, this is called a word equation. But writing a word equation can be quite complicated, because in case of certain substances, the name can be quite long and complicated. There can be so many reactants in the equation, so the space on a given page may not be sufficient. So instead of word equation, what we do, we use symbols, because symbols are standardized, they take less space, and they can easily be deciphered by every scientist or students of science. So this reaction can be written as H2 plus O2 is equal to H2O. Now, what is a balanced equation? This is a reaction between zinc and sulfuric acid, which produces zinc sulfate and hydrogen. This is written as Zn plus H2SO4 is equal to ZnSO4 plus H2. So let us count the number of atoms for each element on both sides of the equation. So for zinc, it is 1 on left hand side, 1 on RHS. Hydrogen is 2 on LHS, 2 on RHS. Sulfur 1 on LHS, 1 on RHS. Oxygen 4 on each side. So when the number of atoms of elements is equal on both the sides of the equation is called a balanced equation. Now let us look at an example of unbalanced equation. So this reaction is between iron and water, which gives iron oxide and hydrogen. Fe plus H2O is equal to Fe3O4 plus H2. So on LHS, the number of atoms of iron are 1, and on RHS it is 3. For hydrogen it is 2 on both sides. For oxygen it is 1 on LHS and 4 on RHS. So since number of two elements, that is iron and oxygen, they are not equal on both sides of the equation, so this equation is called unbalanced equation. We need to write balanced equation because we need to obey the law of conservation of mass. The law of conservation of mass says that mass cannot be created and mass cannot be destroyed. Okay, so we cannot create additional mass, or we cannot destroy the mass. So how to balance an equation? So first step is to balance the atom which is maximum in number on either side. So let us go to this example. Here the number of oxygen atoms is maximum, that is 4 on RHS compared to the number of other atoms. So we need to first balance the oxygen. So here the number is 4, and on LHS the number of oxygen atoms is 1. So in order to balance this, what we do, we write 4 over here. So 4 multiplied by 1 will become 4. Now let us compare the numbers. Okay, so here for iron it is 1 and 3, LHS and RHS. For hydrogen it is 8 and 2, and oxygen 4 on LHS, 4 on RHS. So the oxygen is balanced. Now step 2 is to balance the atom which is now having the maximum number of atoms. So in this case we have hydrogen, so that is 8 over here. In order to balance it, here it is 4 multiplied by 2, it is 8. So what we do, we write 4 over here, so that 4 multiplied by 2 becomes 8. And let us compare. So for iron it is 1 and 3, hydrogen 8, 8, oxygen 4 and 4. So now the step 3 is to balance the remaining atom. So now iron is the only atom left with unbalanced numbers. Okay, so this is 3 over here and 1 over here. So in order to balance this, we will write 3. So now the equation reads 3Fe plus 4H2O is equal to Fe3O4 plus 4H2O. So now let us compare the numbers. So iron it is 3, 3 on both sides. Hydrogen 8 and 8. Oxygen it is 4 and 4 on our RHS. So now this equation is balanced, and that is how you will have to balance the equations when you will be given unbalanced equation in test papers. Apart from showing the names of elements or compounds in chemical equation, we also need to give certain additional information. For example, information about the state of matter of reactant and product, whether it is aqueous solution or not, whether heat is evolved or heat is being absorbed, what are the spatial conditions of reactions, precipitates are being formed, and so on and so forth. So for this we need to follow certain steps. So in order to show the gaseous state, you need to write G in brackets. For liquids, write L in bracket, and for solid, write S in bracket. If it's an aqueous solution, then write AQ inside the bracket. Spatial conditions, they are written above or below the arrow. So let us take this example, 2AgBr. S stands for solid state, here G stands for gaseous states, and sunlight it is a special condition. So this shows that the reaction is happening under the sunlight. The sunlight is a cause of reaction, is a necessary factor for the reaction to take place. Let us now move on to types of reaction. So there are several types, like combination reaction, displacement reaction, decomposition reaction, double displacement reaction, and oxidation plus reduction. Oxidation and reduction, they have been written together with a plus sign, because these two reactions, they always happen together, and that is why whenever you are studying oxidation and reduction, you write both of them together. So in combination, this is also called redox reaction, that is REDOX, redox. So let us start with combination reaction. When two or more reactants combine to form one product, the reaction is called combination reaction. So here there are two reactants, A plus B, and they are combining to form a product called AB. So this example is when quicklime is mixed with water. It is taken in a beaker. What happens? The quicklime reacts with water, and you will observe effervescence in the beaker, in the reaction mixture. When you will touch the beaker with your hand, you will feel that the beaker has become hot. So this shows that this is an exothermic reaction. Heat is being evolved. So this reaction can be written as CaO plus H2O is equal to CaOH whole 2 plus heat. So what happens? The calcium oxide, that is quicklime, is combining with water to give slaked lime, that is calcium hydroxide. Another example is C plus O2 is equal to CO2. This is nothing but if you are burning something, say coal, then you are burning carbon or any other fuel. In burning a fuel, what happens? Carbon is getting oxidized to produce carbon dioxide. So this reaction shows that combustion process. This reaction shows the combination of hydrogen and oxygen to produce water. So 2H2 plus O2 is equal to 2H2O. Decomposition reaction is just opposite to combination reaction. So when one compound breaks into two or more compounds or elements, the reaction is called decomposition reaction. So here AB is a compound. It is breaking into two compounds or elements, A plus B. One example is when we will take calcium carbonate, that is limestone, in a test tube, and you will heat it. What happens? It decomposes into quicklime, that is calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So CaCO3 is equal to CaO plus CO2. Another example is 2FeSO4, that is iron sulfate. It gives Fe2O3, iron oxide, and oxides of sulfur, SO2 plus SO3. In these two reactions, decomposition is taking place because of heat, and that is why this is called thermal decomposition. Now, when electric current is passed through water, what happens? Water decomposes into its constituent elements. So 2H2O is equal to 2H2 plus O2. Here decomposition takes place because of electricity, and so this reaction is called electrolytic decomposition. When silver chloride powder is exposed to sunlight, it decomposes to give silver and chlorine. So the equation is 2AgCl is equal to 2Ag plus Cl2. And now this decomposition is taking place because of light, photon. So this is called photo decomposition. So you can remember three types: thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, and photo decomposition. Now let us move to the displacement reaction. When atoms or ions from one compound move to other to form a new substance, the reaction is called displacement reaction. So one is displacing the other. So this is also known as substitution reaction. This is also called single displacement reaction. So let us take a hypothetical example. A plus BC, BC is a compound, is equal to AC plus B. So what happens here? A is displacing B from this compound BC to make a compound AC. Okay, so this is displacement reaction. A very good example is, or rather this is the most common example being taught in textbooks and classes, that when you will take copper sulfate solution in a test tube and you will put iron nail in the solution, what happens after some time, the blue color of copper sulfate solution, it disappears and this liquid, it turns into green, light green, and a brown deposit can be seen over iron nail. Let us see why does this happen. What happens? Iron is being more reactive than copper. It displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. So now instead of copper sulfate solution, you get iron sulfate solution, and the green color is because of iron sulfate solution. In this process, copper is getting freed. So the copper which has been freed up, it gets deposited on iron nails. So the equation is written as Fe plus CuSO4 is equal to FeSO4 plus Cu. Other examples are Zn plus CuSO4 plus ZnSO4 plus Cu. Pb plus CuCl2, that is copper chloride, is equal to PbCl2, that is lead chloride plus Cu. What is important to remember in this reaction, displacement reaction, is that if a more reactive metal reacts with a compound of a less reactive metal, then the more reactive metal is going to substitute the less reactive metal. But opposite of this cannot happen. So what happens when you are adding iron nail to copper sulfate solution, the iron is displacing copper. But if you will put a copper rod in iron sulfate solution, no reaction will take place because copper is less reactive than iron, and copper is not going to displace iron from iron sulfate solution. Now double displacement reaction can be said to be a subtype of displacement reaction. In this case, what happens? There is a mutual displacement. So one example is when aqueous solution of sodium sulfate and barium chloride, they are mixed in a test tube and left for some time, a white precipitate of barium sulfate appears in the mixture. This happens because the sodium from sodium sulfate, it displaces barium from barium chloride, and barium from this compound, it displaces sodium from this sulfate compound, and that is why barium sulfate and sodium chloride are formed. So Na2SO4 plus BaCl2 is equal to BaSO4 plus 2NaCl. Oxidation reduction. As I have said earlier, that oxidation and reduction, they are generally written together because these reactions, they always take place simultaneously. So here is one example. CuO plus H2 is equal to Cu plus H2O. So when copper oxide is mixed with hydrogen and it is heated, you get copper and water. So in this case, let us see what happens. Oxygen is being added to hydrogen to make water. So since oxygen is being added to hydrogen, so hydrogen is getting oxidized. And in this case, oxygen is removed from copper oxide to make copper. So since oxygen is removed from copper oxide, so copper oxide is getting reduced. So it is undergoing reduction. So addition of oxygen to a compound is called oxidation reaction. Removal of oxygen from a compound is called reduction reaction. Opposite of this is also true. Here hydrogen is being added to oxygen, and that is why oxygen is undergoing reduction. So addition of hydrogen is called oxidation. Addition of oxygen, addition of hydrogen is called reduction. So addition of oxygen is called oxidation. Addition of oxygen is hydrogen is called reduction. Then removal of oxygen is called reduction, and removal of hydrogen is called oxidation. So this may be sounding somewhat confusing. Okay, so easy way to remember is that when oxygen is added, it is oxidation, and when hydrogen is removed, it is reduction. Oxidation. Opposite to this is true, that when hydrogen is added or oxygen is removed, this is reduction. Oxidation and reduction reactions, they are very important because they influence our day-to-day life. For example, respiration. What happens in respiration? Food is getting oxidized to produce energy. In case of photosynthesis, carbon is getting reduced to produce carbohydrate. When we burn a fuel, what we do? We observe oxidation reaction. The fuel is getting oxidized to produce energy. So it is important to study oxidation and reduction. There are two important examples in the textbook. One is of corrosion and another is of rancidity. In case of corrosion, what happens? That metals, they have a tendency to react with oxygen to produce metal oxides. And when the metal is getting converted into metal oxide, the remaining metal is getting reduced. The amount of it is getting reduced. So, for example, let us take an iron article. So, when iron gets oxidized in presence of oxygen and moisture, it turns into iron oxide. That is a brown compound, and the brownish layer formed on the iron article is called rust. So, this process is also called rusting of iron. So, what happens, as more and more iron it is transformed into rust, this process eats away the iron from the given item, and the process of eating away is called corrosion. And because of corrosion, the iron article becomes weak over a period of time, and that is why old items of iron, they break easily, they become fragile. Okay, we apply certain methods to prevent rusting of iron. For example, we paint iron furnitures or iron bridges. They are also painted in different colors to make a layer, make a coat over them. Iron items are also anodized in order to prevent rusting. Grease is applied to prevent rusting. Corrosion, rancidity is, to understand, just recall, if